Very beautiful day up here in the Midwest. What's going on, six speeders? Very nice day up here in the Midwest. I got a lot of questions regarding a car that many of you guys have been asking about, and I wanted to hop to it and everything. So here it is. A lot of questions regarding the Saab 9.3. If you've not seen the video in which I cleaned up the rims and everything, I'll leave that down in the description below. But I got tons and tons of questions regarding this car, regarding the people asking, is it a fun car to own? Should you go buy one? You know, what are the options for it, everything like that. So I thought, why not answer some of your questions about this beautiful car. So for those people that did not know much about Saab were made out in Sweden. They were owned by GMC for a little while, and then GMC sold them back in 2009 to a Chinese company, which now they're making them into electric cars. You don't sadly get to see many of those anymore here in America, because they basically stopped making them after, I believe, 2012. So if you could find one, it's a huge gem. Saabs did make a pretty good, decent amount of cars. The main two that I know is the Saab 9.3 and the Saab 9.5, which the 9.5 was a 4-door sedan and the 9.3 was a 2-door coupe. I do know Saab did make an SUV for a little while. Don't know much about that one, but I've heard some pretty good things about them. So the Saab packages was a Saab SE and a Saab Viggen. So the SE was available in a 2-door coupe, a 2-door convertible, or a 4-door sedan. Basically, you rolled with a 2.0 turbo engine, which I also did forget to mention that all Saabs from factory came turboed. And then the Saab Viggen was available, I believe, in the same type of package, I do believe, with a 2.3 engine, and I believe it was also offered with a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual, which was also offered in the SC too. But the Viggen's the diamond. That one's very hard to find, from what I've been told, and they are fast as they can be for its time. So here is the awesome engine bay for the 2002 Saab 9.3. I don't know everything about this engine, but it is a 2.0 turbo inline 4-cylinder. Very easy to change spark plugs in this, I must say so myself. Pretty simple setup. You know, you got your main turbo manifold down there and everything good like that. Just a very simple stock car. And if you are somebody who wants to buy this and just do, you know, a little bit of modification, maybe like a nice little cold air intake or a drop-in filter, you know, maybe put on a bigger turbo or something like that, of course I would recommend that you do your homework. But, you know, there is some potential to customizing these cars the way that you want to do them. Also, one thing that I did forget to mention is that this car is a 4-speed automatic, but also the SE models did come with a 5-speed manual. So if you're somebody who just wants to drive stick and buy a pretty decent car for the price, you can definitely score one of these. So let's answer everybody's first question that they've been constantly asking me. How much do these cars go for, and are they easy to modify? So my first answer to how much they go for. I've seen them go from anywhere between $1,200 to about $7,000, so you're not really paying that much for them. I scored this one back in 2015 for about $4,500, and it's been a good car so far. No problems whatsoever. I mean, of course, I do yearly maintenance, and the person before me took great care of it, so that's one reason. Easy to modify. That will really determine on what year you have. For example, the year that I have, 98 to 02, not really that many aftermarket, you know, parts, but from anything from 2003 to, I believe, 2011 to 2012, very simple aftermarket parts. I've seen catback exhaust for about $300. So, you know, depends on the year. Of course, do your homework before you race off and go buy a Saab. Do a little bit of homework. The number 2 question I always do get was, is this car only available in convertible? And the answer to that is no, because early in the video I said it's available in hardtop, and some were available in 4-door sedans down the road after, I believe, 2003. They were available in a 4-door sedan. But for from 98 to 2002, they were only available in a 2-door coupe or a 2-door coupe Viggen. So pretty much both options. The 9.5 would probably be what people would want if they want the 4-door sedan. So let's answer everybody's second question that they always ask me about the Saabs. Are they only available in convertible? And the short answer to that, like I said earlier in the video, no, they're not. The Saab 9.3s from 98 to 2002 were only available in a two-door coupe or two-door coupe hardtop, while the 9.5 was available in the four-door sedan. So if you are looking for the four-door sedan, I strongly recommend that you look into the 9.5s. The 9.5s also come turboed, so if that's a big must for you, you don't have to be worried about that. So it just popped in my head. Some of you guys were also asking, since that was a convertible, do you at least have room for everything? You know, room for all your stuff, place to put groceries and stuff. And so I thought I would show you all what the trunk looks like for the trunk size. You got a lot of room. A lot of room. I remember I threw in a lot of groceries whenever I used to go grocery shopping for my dad after high school. And I remember I always used to throw all my stuff in there and it fitted just perfectly. Also, those seats do fold down a certain way. I only had to fold them down like once because I was carrying a lot of stuff. Of course, we were treating this car like a truck sometimes for hauling stuff around. The other question that I always do get asked is, what does this car look like with the top down, and does, you know, the motor still work? And short answer to that is yes. And we're going to put down the top and show you guys. Fun fact about Saabs is that's where your ignition is, and here's the button to put down the roof, so I'll get to it right now. All you want to do is just take this handle right here, push up, and of course you could choose just to close it in just like I do. My dad always sticks it out. And then basically you just want to take the button down here, and basically that will fold down. And also it folds into the awesome back. Now it might stop here because that piece of plastic has been roughed around with, sadly just from age. Just like that. That's the only problem with this. It's a pretty easy fix. All you have to do is just take the piece of plastic or sometimes lift up on the top and then problem solve. And so that's how it folds in pretty much. All I had to do was just take this and push it back a little bit, and it folds right on it. Basically, all you want to do is just push down the roof button again, and then it will roll down all the windows down for you. Very, very nifty, if I don't say so myself. For its time back in 2002, this was probably one of the nicest cars to own. I know it had a lot of rivals. I don't know all of them on top of my head, but I would say any luxury company like BMW, possibly Porsche and everything. Very, very nifty. For me, I believe that this is probably one of the best convertibles ever made for 2002. And till this day, I won't lie to you guys, I believe that this was the nicest convertible ever made. Because I love the look of it, I love the color of it, but also it was my first car. I used to always whip around with it with the top down, and people always knew who I was, and that was awesome. Because the car stands out in its own way. And I think that just proved why. Right, so here's some of your gauges. You got up to 160 on the speedometer. You got your turbo gauge. You got your temperature gauge, your gas gauge, of course, and then red line begins right at 6,000. So that's not bad for its time at all. And then over here you got your Saab on your steering wheel. You got your controls for the radio, volume, and everything awesome like that. But my favorite part is this wood grain look. I've always liked that because it just feels smooth, kind of like a Nardi steering wheel. So over here, you basically got your radio. Pretty simple setup, of course. Radio, CD. I mean, this is all 2002, so very, very simple. A little bit more options than the Scion, but for its time, it came with seat warmers, which was not that common. Also, you have your OnStar, which was definitely not common for 2002. You got your sport mode up here, of course, up to 4 on the transmission, the roof button, everything. One thing that this car does lack is cup holders, but if it makes you feel any better, there's your cup holder right there, and right there. That was your cup holder, folks. You see, in Europe, they don't really use their cars that much. You know, they don't really run errands. All they do is run errands, bring back all their stuff, you know. Us Americans, we use our cars pretty much for everything. Also, one thing about the interior, so this is very, very nice tan leather interior. If you did not see that, very, very nice, simple bucket seats. Also over here, if you can see that, it says turbo, which is pretty cool. I wish that they did kind of include the Griffin logo on there just for looks, but all in all, I really do like what they did for it. And then back here you got your typical back seats, pretty nice. No center console whatsoever. Very, very nice. It is very, very cramped back there because I was stuffed back there a lot as a kid, but it was a very, very nice thing. So over here you got your awesome floor mats. They spell out Saab, as you guys can see. It's just a very, very simple Saab. This is the passenger view. Inside the glove box, typical things inside the glove box. No secrets or anything, but just pretty simple. And just very, very nice setup. One more thing that I forgot to mention to you guys is, I don't know if the 9.5 does this, but the 9.3, whenever you step inside of it and you turn it on, it will automatically, depending on the temperature, kick on either the AC unit or the heater unit, which I always found pretty cool for a 2002 car, because I don't know any other cars that do that. So one of the questions I also do get is it, you know, worth buying this car? Because, you know, many people see them for $5,000 and then they say, maybe. Here's my answer. If it runs good, just like all cars, if it runs good and it will last you for what you need to last for, then heck yeah, you know. My biggest kryptonite with this car is trying to find parts for it. It's a nightmare. But, you know, you just check around local junkyards, you know, look for part outs, look for the parts online, you know, eBay, Amazon, everything like that. You should be able to find the parts. If you own a 2003 to 2011, they kept that body style all through it. I do believe they made this car in 2012 too, so you're pretty much golden there. But if you own an older type Saab, getting parts is kind of hard. Another thing that these cars are probably notorious for, from what I've seen, is thanks to the turbo, they do like to blow head gaskets at times. So, you know, definitely keep an eye on your temperature gauge if you can. So one thing that I did forget to mention to you guys is these cars are easy/hard to work on. They're hard to find the parts, but they're very, very easy to work on, because whenever I was changing in the spark plugs, like I said earlier, all I had to do was remove 4 bolts. There was the coil packs, move them out, pop them out, take out the spark plugs, and that only took me like 20 minutes. There is some pretty easy stuff with these cars. Working on them, the hardest part, like I said, just finding parts for them. But if you could find the parts, you should be fine. 6-speeder. So one question that I do get asked is, do these little windshield wipers actually work? And here's my answer, and there's even one on this side, is I absolutely have no idea. I've never seen them do anything. I don't know if Saab just put them on there looking cool, so I got to do some digging around. And if I do find out, I'll be sure to let you all know. So you guys, we're down to the final question. Would I recommend this for a beginner driver/high school driver? My answer to that is yes and no. Yes, I would recommend it because of its safety features. You know, this car is very, very safe. It drives well in the snow. They are strong reputation, you know, for being good cars. But here's where the no will kick in. The turbo. The turbo, you know, you have those high schoolers/beginning drivers thinking that they're invincible. They're going to stomp on the gas wherever they go. And I mean, I think we're all guilty of, you know, being crazy drivers whenever we were kids. I think we're all guilty of that at times, you know. But here's the other reason. If you're a high schooler who wants to go off and modify the car and, you know, treat it like a Honda Civic, you know, modify every single inch of the car, this probably is not the car for you. But if you're somebody who just wants a car just to get them around town, have a little bit of fun with and enjoyment, this is probably the car for you. You know, what it really does come down to is just do your homework, see what you could find out on the market, and work with what you got. All right, 6-speeders, so that's all for answering your guys' questions about the beautiful 2002 Saab 9.3. If you guys have not seen the review for this car, that'll be down in the description below. I'm strongly appreciative of all these questions, you guys, because honestly, I enjoy doing this. And if you guys do have any more questions regarding, you know, any of our other cars, please shoot me an email at 6speeders@2019@gmail.com. That one's down in the description below. Also, you guys are more than welcome to come write me on Instagram. My Instagram is SmithEM2000. That's also down in the description below. You guys are awesome. I'll see you all in the next video. Please press that subscribe button to smash that like and keep on driving and stay safe.